Bam! Bam! You like that? Game of Thrones. The mountain. Remember that move? This one. Holy shit! Holy shit! Yup. Just feels so freaking awesome. And then chicka bam!
Hello everyone and welcome to the Wolfszeit channel. Today with a very special topic, always special. The new special move adrenaline system. Now as compact as possible, what Henrik showed us. And I must say I'm so impressed by this, and the PTR will open soon, so please participate in this.
Cooking with Dispatch. We've been cooking for a few months, as you know. And obviously we are sorry for taking a lot of time on this. It's quite packed with content and a lot of different things, you know. We are wrapping things up for PTR. We have the invasion, automatons, we have the TC, Outpost content updates. One of the highest voted on the voting list, combat abilities. We're gonna announce the PTR very shortly. Appreciate that support because we need a lot of feedback, help with balancing things. There's a few things that may be standing out OP, and there may be a few of them that are the opposite, right? I've been working in motion capture suit for quite a lot. And holy shit, that's not easy, and it is quite a strain. Now, the current patch status we are in now obviously don't have everything fine-tuned and polished. We're still heavily tweaking the numbers and also tweaking especially the first-person animation to have sweet spots. You would probably notice a few things I've noticed are a little bit off from the centerpiece. Some of the angles maybe a little bit off. You know, those are the things that we're fine-tuning now. So I can just start out showing you some cool stuff. So let's take a little cleave. And then, you know, we may as well do a little snappy, you know. So let's dig a little deeper. Let's dig a little deeper, you know. So here we have a new tab window, the combat abilities. And here you can see all the current weapon groups we have. We are right now on two-handed axes. You know, the promised cleave we've been talking about over the years, finally here. You saw I smacked multiple walkers in one strike. And then I went to the spear and did this little swing thrust. It's one of my favorite right now. It just feels freaking awesome. So as you can see here, we have a new UI, the adrenaline system bar. Giving damage, taking damage, parrying, they all contribute giving adrenaline. And then, you know, we have those abilities like this one. Holy shit! Holy shit! The long-awaited abilities. And it just feels awesome, guys. We have so much fun today setting this up and just playing around with different combos. So let's go through a little bit about what this all means here in the combat ability window. So the spear, we have impale with 2 dots. That means obviously the adrenaline cost it requires. And there's no direction. It's a custom animation for impale. Same thing with sling thrust. You just throw it straight out. It costs 3 adrenaline costs currently. Obviously this is all balanced that we need want your input in. And then motor great again. And then we have the sting for the spear. It costs 1 adrenaline dots, but here you can see there's 4 direction. It's pretty self-explanatory for you veterans. You can probably guess that those are the eligible directions you can perform this one in. So it's from all the direction, you know, up, left, right, down, thrust, overhead. If you go to the axe, two-handed axe, cleave, it only have 2 directions you can choose from, left or right when you do the cleave. And we have severance. It's 1 direction, it's 2 adrenaline cost, cleave 1 cost there. The bow, as you can see here, volley, leaves a volley up to 3 arrows. Spread shot, you shoot 3 arrows at once. Piercing shot, and then we have retreat. This is really cool. I'm gonna show you. Now again, the effects and stuff are not final, so if something looks too crazy, you know, we are aware, and obviously we also appreciate the feedback on things because it's important to get feedback to see what's going on. Force shot, snapshot. You see the description, I assume. Steady hands. This one is cool because you can pretty much move around without any wobbling. So it's a very accurate aim for this one. And then we have shared abilities down here. So how this works is if we go to, for instance, the spear that I'm using right now. So here is kind of where you pull these down to where you want them, as you can see here. So these are predefined keys to use your abilities. And then you have shared abilities like all of these that you can also choose to put on this one, the bar here. And then as you can see, so this is the spear, right? And this is the axe. It changes here to those abilities I've set up here. And I can set another combo here, whatever I want, right? And then when I'm happy with that setup, I close this window. And as you can see now, I swapped from the spear to an axe. You see down here in that window, those updates automatically. You just swap the weapons and you have your preferences set up here. And I set to these keys as a default. Obviously, you can change them, you know, your hotkeys afterwards. These abilities are based on the skills, right? So you need to learn these books, the skills. They're not correct icons, but you learn these by unlocking these abilities. So if you don't have them here, you can't pull them down here. But as soon as you have got these skills, you can access them here. So you can always read on them even though you haven't learned it. That is kind of how the basic rules work of your choice. If you're a dagger wielder, these three to choose from. Precision strikes, for instance, you have all the directions available to perform that one. What it does is it allows you to thrust with the dagger from any direction. So obviously quite useful. You're used to today. You just have thrust center, right? But with this ability, you can thrust from any direction. So obviously you need to parry the right direction when it comes to thrusts. This 50% armor piercing, if you manage to pull that one off. It's one custom animation. So it's one direction you have to learn is 3 adrenaline cost abilities. Gouge can goes from these directions. So you can't do the thrust version, but you can do the other directions. Really cool, unique abilities that adds a lot of, obviously again, the numbers when it comes to piercing amounts, the damage, the bleed, that's what we want a lot of feedback on. So we hope that a lot of you guys are interested in jumping in on PTR and give feedback on this one. The goal is that nothing is OP and that everything is useful and interesting, obviously. So we want to start slow and easy. What else do we have? I mean, do you want to see all of these ones? We can probably post them later.
I will also make an additional video only about the combat abilities. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Would be very awesome, by the way.
So if I just wait, you always have one adrenaline bar. It slowly goes up to 1. So abilities that just uses 1 adrenaline, you can always perform as long as you have that one baseline. But if you wait, like I'm doing now, as you can see here now, the adrenaline slowly goes down, but it gets stuck on the first ones. You always have that. There's a few differences though. All clades have different unique powers on top of this. I'm a Thursar right now, which means I have 11 dots. If you count all these, I can go up to 11. All the other clades only have 10, so that's one of the uniqueness of the Thursars. And we also have the Clade gift. Which one was it? Yeah, aggressive. If you have this one, you can see there increased maximum adrenaline and 5% more adrenaline gain from dealing damage. So if you're aggressive, you gain slightly more adrenaline as well. So all clades have their different uniqueness. For instance, the Alvarin have 2 as a baseline, so you can actually engage with 1 or 2 instantly without having to engage in fights. Oghmirs have more tank abilities, so the more damage they take, the more adrenaline they gain. The humans have a natural ability where they don't lose the ticking down rates as fast. As you can see here, he's performing different cuts with the dagger. So it's thrust from all the directions, as you saw, rotation and stab with it. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. No. So there's a bunch to go through. I have to offer. That is a one hell of a breaking blow he did there. He smacked the head. And bam, boom! Bam, boom, you know? So the counter is interesting. You see there, he can parry. Yeah, unfortunately, counter a parry and incoming strike while performing an elegant thrust. A lot of people have been asking for that we wanted to try. So you go into a ripost state, and during that ripost state, if you get hit, you do a quick counter based on that. I can see if I can hit you, Nebulas, and you do a little the ripost. You see? So he does the parry and quickly follow up with a smack. You know, it's the rock from the Game of Thrones, the mountain. Remember that move? Sweeping strike. Sweep your pole sword in horizontal slashes. Blade dance. Raises your pole sword and swing it around you in a wide arc is the one that he showed us. And then we have heave. Horizontal. New directions to learn to react to do the proper parries. So we've been doing way less spinning around to focus on mastering, you know, the new moves that surprises you from hell. So there's some agility add to this one. So as you can see here, we have now the aim is off on these ones, so that we're gonna fix. But and the effects are a little bit crazy. But we have a little 3 arrows as we can shoot. So I can shoot 3 quickly. They will it will draw them faster in the next version we have. Retreat is pretty interesting. Look at this one. Bam! A little jump back while I'm shooting. So if someone getting too close, you just do the bam. You just do the bam. And of course you get adrenaline by doing range damage as well, as you can see here. So you can spin while you're doing them, but we have a specific modifier. So it's gonna be way stricter, right? So you can't do crazy spins while doing those. Number one concern is to make sure nothing is crazy, overpowered. And I'm sure you veteran pros can help us identify those in the current version. We will do heavy testing on this. And we appreciate your help that are really good at PvP and balance. So you can help us getting those identified so we don't have anything game breaking balance. We're gonna announce the PTR. It's very soon. Bam! 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 You like that? So obviously that hack combo is three directions that you obviously need to parry in those 3 directions. So a little practice to get used to what kind of moves you're facing. So the adrenaline is, if you're playing outnumbered, you take damage, you get way more adrenaline than passing. That's also part of the balance we wanna take a look on. So that means if there's 2, 3 or more against you, you're gaining more abilities than your opponents to battle the Zerg balance a little bit. PvPers in the game, they put everything in the center because obviously you need to be able to see the things, right? So that's why we also put adrenaline around the center. But like I said, if everyone votes that it should be wider or adjusted, then obviously that's something we're gonna take a look on, right? Then we can make a toggle to make a line like this. That is a possibility. Okay, look at this. God damn! A little flurry. Let's see what's it called. Poleaxe. I think it's the alternating strike. Bam bam. You know, the bam bam, and then finish off. You know, the come over here for Mortal Kombat. So we talked about obviously where can people abuse adrenaline? Am I hitting my friend? Should we limit that adrenaline from guildies? But what if they then have blue with them? They hit them. You know, there's a lot of questions there. All of those are tweakable if you want to change it for guilds, etc. Increase your stamina regeneration by 50% temporarily for 5 seconds. Rejuvenate. Increase your health regeneration by 50% temporarily. 10 seconds on that one currently. Energize. Increases your mana regeneration by 30% temporarily. Quicken. Increases your movement speed by 2.5% temporarily. 5 seconds only, so it's a little quick one. Amplify. Increases your spell power by 5% temporarily. Effects last for 5 seconds, also a quick one. Empower. Increases your melee damage by 5% temporarily. By 5 seconds. Brace increases your physical defense by 25% temporarily for 5 seconds. Poise increases your knockdown resistance by 50% temporarily for 5 seconds. Ward increases your magic defense by 25% temporarily, effectively for 5 seconds. So some of those quick things that can also be used in mid-combat in an interesting way rather than a long buff. You have to time them accurately. So if I'm running around chasing someone and I do this one, look at my aim. Bam! So I have a steady aim for that one. Can be quite useful because obviously running around with this aim is not very easy, right? But it's a quite costful skill. 3 adrenaline with the steady hands. Parry magic. So all damage type you take give you adrenaline, and all damage types you give adrenaline. So mages obviously also get adrenaline by the thing is also, it's really fun to be able to spend adrenaline constant in a fight because it just adds such a layer. There's so much crazy going on. It's really fun, and when we're fighting and just surprising each other every time. So to have a steady growth and spend on them is more fun, we think. rather than just having to, oh, I'm fighting now, and oh, I can spend one. What do? I do this one, and that's it. And then everyone goes back to normal combats for like 95% of the time. We want abilities to be engaging a lot in a fight, right? Because it's fun. It breaks the meta. It breaks spins. Things like that, right? We're gonna set up some fights. We're gonna play this outpost. So, by the way, we have updated this outpost based on the last stream's feedback. Way more friendly when it comes to being able to survive from elementalist spells. We've done a lot of tactical component where you can hide from them. We also adjusted the AoE, if I'm not mistaken, on, I think the fireball is wider AoE than it visibly represents. So that should be tightened up as well, so it's not hitting you across the entire field here when it impacts to the ground. No, so we are considering the ping normalization in these abilities to work with overall the same we have now. There's still obviously this threshold when the fastest ones are difficult, especially West Coast, but we have that same threshold as the normal attacks. Fists, let's take a little look on fists. I've not tried those actually. We have a pummel. Could be that again some animation and speeds are a little bit off, but let's take a look, shall we? So this was the quick, bam, quick jab. So the direction again is a little off. I think it's to the left, right? Yeah, the jab, right? And then we have bam, bam, bam. The speed on this one maybe half, right? So a little jab. So those are the things we'll work on now, the animation. Have a proper aim in the middle, long reach, and proper speed. But it doesn't happen automatically. I have to perform it, and you can choose from left or right. Bam! But now the majority of the moves, you have to choose the direction and perform them just like any normal attack. So it's kind of tightly integrated. They're still integrated, but some of them are limited. Doesn't make sense that you can choose directions, so they are, you know, just one way. You can do all the, so it's so integrated that you can do, you know, feint and start it. You see? So I don't have a shield, but you can do the spear shield as well. We have the same abilities with the shield as well. So this one is cool. So you see, this is the parry stance. If someone is going at me, I can do this, and if it hits me doing that, I will perform a quick follow-up riposte attack, right? You see, I did a counter, he riposted it into me. See, I riposte, he's riposte. Falls for a strike, whip the head of your club into your opponent. So this is a little whip attack. And currently it looks like that, a little whip. Swing your club upwards into your opponent. So that's a thrust parry on that one. So tricky, see, coming from under up. Swing your club down onto your opponent, deals 10% higher durability damage to equipment. So if you wanna deals 50% higher durability damage to shields. So this is the shield destroyer. If you have those nasty shields on the field, you can start shatter them to pieces. And the armor takes a little bit more durability damage as well. Bam! These are very powerful, bam! Extremely powerful. Bam! Whoops. Perform 2 flowing cuts, deals 25% armor piercing. Perform an overhead feint followed by a strong thrust. Hilt strike. Bash the hilt of your sword downwards into your opponents. Yes, they are dependent on their combat skills. So if you want to do the 200 sword abilities, all of them, you need to have skills in that weapon. Yes, when you summon a walker now, you don't need to cast control on them anymore. They should be automatically under your control. So obviously, now you have so many different combos and things to use. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, the spinning thing. We also have one function where we can strengthen the spinning both in the normal combat swings and abilities to have proper balance over those. So again, we highly appreciate for anyone wanna jump in on PTR, go through the abilities, give us if something is OP or crazy numbers, same on the buffs and all the abilities, and if something needs to be tightened up. Yeah, we updated the outposts based on your feedback, guys. Really good. So obviously a lot of people were worried about elementalism being too powerful in choke points and not enough space to hide and move around. So based on that feedback, we did a lot of a lot of obstacles where you can block hits. We also fine-tuned the fireball AoE because it was longer than it's visually hitting, so that's going to be a little bit tighter. And you can see here, a lot of you guys said that this was going to be a death point, so we did add these obstacles here to make sure that you can't just be choke pointed with elementalism damage. You see, you have like a lot of defense sections. We extended the yard a little bit here as well with multiple ways of defense. Like I said, we have a system in place to make sure that pumping adrenaline on each other is gonna be a little bit of a suicide or risky business. I showed the mechanics, right, where the numbers we have. We just need help with inputting those numbers correctly, so it's not gonna be effective. We may also disable so you don't even get an adrenaline when you hit a guildie, but that means you can't practice on guild fights, and that's a big fun part of it, right? So do we really want to eliminate it? I'm not sure. Animal breeding is planned for Mortal 9 too, yes, but we don't have a roadmap plan for when that will happen. But we will, after Reckoning, start the voting for the upcoming areas of focus where you can vote on these things. Like my haircuts, tattoos, that is also on the roadmap, so people can vote. So mages will also gain adrenaline by shooting spells and stuff. So imagine a AoE, you may get a lot of adrenaline that you can spend on these things, shared abilities, or if you use fists or daggers for anything, you know, there's a few options, right? Alright, I think I covered in general what we plan to show you guys today. The fatalities need a little bit more synchronization. It's they're a little bit out of control. But there's some really cool stuff, so we will see what state they will be in soon. They're not the highest priority. It's cool stuff, but obviously the combat abilities is prioritized number one.
So making these videos is a lot of work, so please leave a like and subscribe, would be really awesome, by the way. And please share your thoughts about this whole adrenaline system, would be very awesome. I also had a lot of concerns before the stream, but now I can really say it's looking like a very solid system. It just needs the balancing of the whole community, I guess. Yeah, but please leave your opinion in the comments, would be nice. And I'm very sorry that this video was a little bit long, but I'm really trying to include everything I can as compact as possible. So special thanks to all of these supporters, of course, Carmel, Lucario, Mr. Minerva, Demtire, Jonas, Partenax, Clone Bulldog, and all the others, of course. So never forget to make your adrenaline system hard. I mean, make your party hard. I mean, make party hard. And see you all next time. Goodbye.